Stop trying to manifest with woo-woo or magic. It's not magic, it's neuroscience, which in plain English means it's already wired into your incredible brain. I'm going to walk you through the simple process a Stanford neurosurgeon uses to help people stop manifesting their problems and start seeing real results, often in just a few days. If you've ever felt trapped by your own negative self-talk or stuck repeating patterns from the past, this will give you the key to unlock that mental prison. I spent years trying to manifest the law of attraction way, visualizing, affirming, waiting for the universe to deliver. All it brought me was frustration. I'm not saying nothing ever changed, but that's not exactly a miracle. A miracle would be if things stayed the same all the time. But mostly things didn't get better. I was single far longer and far more often than I wanted to be, and the struggle to stay afloat financially seemed never-ending. As I continued to experiment with reality creation, I came to realize that I'd been focusing on what we might call the magic, not the mechanics. Once I began to understand what was really happening inside my brain, how our thoughts, emotions, and nervous system actually create our experience, light began to dawn, and things started to change in surprising and sometimes massive ways. Now, I don't try to manifest anymore. You can't try to manifest. It doesn't respond to effort. But more importantly, you don't need to try. These days, I live from what's been termed heart mode, calm, connected, and open, and things just unfold naturally. This isn't the same as sitting on your behind and doing nothing. You're very much an active participant, but it's effortless. The best way I can think to describe it is, it's like driving a car when you don't know the way, but you have a very reliable GPS system in the car. You're still the driver, you know where you want to end up, but how you get there isn't down to you. All you have to do is drive and follow the instructions. And even if you go wrong or there's a roadblock, it doesn't matter because the GPS will always find another way to get you there. In fact, if money is your issue when it comes to manifesting, I recommend you watch my Effortless Money Manifesting Masterclass. It's under 10 minutes, it's free, and boy, it packs a powerful punch. There's a link at the top of the description, or you could scan the QR code on screen now. Anyway, today I want to show you exactly how to make that shift using real neuroscience, not wishful thinking. We're not talking about crystals or cosmic orders here. The ability to manifest is built into your biology. You are literally wired to create. The problem is most of us are doing it unconsciously, replaying old emotional patterns, living in stress, and unintentionally creating more of what we don't want. Let's change that. Here are 5 science-backed steps to get your body, mind, and emotions working together so you can consciously create the life you actually want. The first step is shift from fear mode to heart mode. When you're anxious or constantly on edge, your brain flips into what's called fear mode. That's your fight or flight system kicking in. It's great if you're running from a tiger, but terrible for manifesting anything new. What we want instead is heart mode, a calm, balanced state where your body feels safe and your brain works at its best. Try this very simple exercise to get yourself there. Find somewhere quiet and take a slow breath in through your nose for about 4 to 6 seconds. Hold it briefly, then exhale slowly through your mouth. Do that for just a minute or two. You'll literally switch on your parasympathetic nervous system, the one that handles rest, connection, and creativity. You're built for heart mode. Love, connection, and creativity are your natural state. And if you're wondering what keeps you stuck in fear mode, it's that inner voice of constant criticism. Let's deal with that next. Second step, clear the mental baggage with compassion and forgiveness. That voice in your head that says you're not good enough, that's your mental prison. Every time you repeat a negative thought, it's like adding another brick to the wall. A lot of that comes from old emotional baggage, things you learned or absorbed as a kid that still run in the background today. So first, just notice the story you're telling yourself. You can even write it down. What do I keep saying to myself about who I am or what I deserve? Seeing it on paper helps you realize that story isn't you. You can catch yourself doing this often when you're getting to know someone for the first time. As soon as that person asks you about yourself, it's like you bring out an old PowerPoint presentation you've played 10,000 times before. And you tell the story of what you consider to be the landmark moments in your life that somehow explain or maybe justify how you are today. Oh, my mum and dad split up when I was 12, so that's why and you fill in the blank, explaining some attribute about yourself that you don't like or you're worried they won't like about you, so you want to get it out of the way. Whatever your PowerPoint presentation about your life is, realize this: it's just a story. You made it up in your own head. Not only do other people almost certainly not see you the way you imagine they do, but it's not the only story about yourself either. What about the time you helped an injured cat, or you confronted the school bully even though you were terrified and they ran away? Or you bought your mum a cake for her birthday instead of a toy you badly wanted, using all your pocket money when you were 10. Look, you're not a bad person, and you're not a good person either. You're kind, but maybe not all the time, every time. We are all, every one of us, this complex mosaic of emotions, beliefs, knee-jerk reactions, and a whole lot more. To describe yourself as one thing or another is like looking at the ocean for the first time, taking a 5-second glimpse of it and saying, it's a wild, stormy thing. Whereas the very next day, it could be as calm as a sheet of glass, but you didn't stick around long enough to see that. It's the ocean. It can be beautiful, or it can kill you. It can hold you up, or it can drown you. It's all and none of those things, same as you. So forgive yourself. It's a story, no more true than a soap opera, even though the characters may seem very real. You may not silence the inner critic entirely, but you can learn not to take it seriously, and as soon as you see it's only a story in your head, you can let it go as easily as you'll forget last year's soap episodes. Self-compassion is powerful neuroscience. Forgiveness and acceptance bring your brain into what's called coherence, when everything's working in harmony. And that's when real healing and manifesting start to happen. Step 3 is organize your intention, the what and why. Before you can create anything out there, you have to create it in here, in your mind. This is like telling the GPS in your car where you want to go before you start driving. Here's where most people go wrong. They chase the stuff, money, status, validation. That kind of desire comes from fear, from trying to fill a hole rather than create from fullness. But you're wired for service. The real satisfaction and the real magic comes from purpose, meaning, and being useful to others. Life's a team game. Actually, it's more than that. Collaboration is a survival instinct. When we lived in tribal societies, the hunters needed to work together not only for a successful hunt, but also to survive the dangers, predators, rival tribes, unexpected weather events, and so on. And the women needed to be at home to look after the children and prepare food for everyone. Just teamwork. Nowadays, of course, our society, along with technology, makes our setup so different we don't necessarily need each other in the same way. But I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be able to sit here and record this for you if no one collected the trash, or if our local supermarket and all its suppliers hadn't allowed me and my wife to gather and store all the food we need for the coming week, and so on. For all of those things to happen, I need money to pay the taxes that pays the trash collectors, and more money to pay the supermarket, and so on in one long chain. Where does my money come from? From finding ways to serve and help people. Why do the trash collectors get paid? Because they help and serve people. Why does the supermarket and all its suppliers get paid? I think you know the answer. This is a good point to mention that if money is your sticking point, as it was for me for many years, my effortless money manifesting masterclass is definitely something you want to check out. It's free and under 10 minutes, but it packs some dynamite ideas into a short space of time. The link's at the top of the description or you can scan the QR code on screen now. You and I and everyone else, we're wired for service. We feel good inside when we do good for others, and reciprocation, others doing good for us, is wired in too. So get clear on what you truly want and why you want it. That's it. Just the what and the why. Don't worry about how or when. That part is not your job. It's nature's job. Your job is clarity. The universe, or if you prefer, your subconscious, takes care of the logistics. Step 4 is called the 4-step neuroencoding technique. Here's where neuroscience meets practice. Manifestation, when you strip away the fluff, is simply taking an intention and embedding it into your subconscious so your brain starts filtering the world to find it. There's a principle in neuroscience which goes, what fires together, wires together. That means the more often you repeat a thought with emotion and sensory detail, the stronger that mental pattern becomes. Here's the simple 4-step routine. 1. Write it down. Use a pen or pencil and physically write your intention. 2. Read it silently. Let it land in your mind. 3. Read it aloud. Hearing your own voice reinforces it. 4. Visualize. Close your eyes and imagine it vividly. Engage all your senses and feel the joy as if it's already real. Why this works? Your brain can't tell the difference between something vividly imagined and something actually happening. Repetition makes your goals salient. Basically, it becomes important enough that your brain's attention network starts scanning for opportunities to make it happen. Now, if you're a regular visitor to my channel or you've read any of my books, you'll know that I'm not a fan of techniques. That's because they take us up into our head, and when we don't see the results we're hoping for, we start trying harder, believing we've got it wrong somehow. However, I've made an exception here because my understanding, and I'm not a neuroscientist, I've just read this and it makes sense to me, is that it works on your brain in a similar way to when you get a new car. Suddenly you see that exact make, model and colour of car everywhere, whereas they were sort of invisible before. Your brain rewires itself according to what it understands is important to you, and that's why the cars seem to jump into the foreground of your awareness. Now, of course, you still want to feel confident that it's working, and at the same time, you don't want to be obsessing over it. So the 5th and final step takes care of that. And it's this: the daily habit of consistency. This is where it all becomes second nature. You don't need to grind or force, just stay consistent. I'm going to repeat that in different words. Forcing, aka effort, doesn't help, ever. Consistency does. So here's what to do. In the morning, start with the slow breathing exercise to move into heart mode. Then sit for a moment and simply appreciate being alive. That feeling of calm joy is creative power. During the day, whenever doubts pop up, and they will, gently shift your attention back to the reality you want to experience. It's like redirecting a child's focus. No judgment, just guidance. At night, before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for about your day. Gratitude flips you from a state of wanting to a state of having, which attracts more of the same. I first heard a version of this process from Tony Robbins, and it really does make a difference because by tiptoeing back through your day in this way, it makes you recall all the nice things, even the little moments. You know, the shop assistant who smiled so nicely when you paid for your groceries, someone's graffiti that made you laugh, the funny shaped cloud you noticed. It can really very quickly change your state of mind, and it's a good way to go to sleep anyway. Incidentally, kids love this as a game at bedtime. Keep a journal for them and review the magic moments, which is what Tony called them, maybe at Christmas or New Year. And reflect for a moment. Did I help someone today? What was my favourite moment? That reflection reinforces your alignment with purpose. Finally, take inspired action. Follow those quiet nudges or coincidences that feel right. But if it starts to feel like a struggle, pause, breathe, and come back to heart mode. Manifesting should never feel like wrestling with reality. So, there you have it. 5 scientific steps to go from unconsciously creating problems to consciously creating possibilities. You now have the tools to rewire your brain, align your emotions, and live from heart mode, where life starts to flow naturally again. You've had the key to the prison all along. Now you know how to use it. And don't forget to check out my Effortless Money Manifesting Masterclass. If you found this helpful, please subscribe. My mission is to make manifesting as natural as walking or talking. We're all born with this ability, and I can't cover everything in one video. If you have questions, post them in the comments. I do read them all. Your comments and questions help me to know what you'd like future videos to be about. Together, we can make manifesting feel natural again for you and everyone, the way it was always meant to be. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon in another video.